in the last episode, we were working on a Steve's Carts tree farm that also simultaneously doubled as a power generation system using the leaf-eating generators from Actually Editions. And since the end of the last episode, I put a bit of time into trying to make this room look a little bit nicer and also make it a little bit more versatile. Before, it was basically just this area here with stone walls and nothing else. There wasn't really much space to put more stuff into it. And so what I've done is I've kind of dug out like little indentations all around it. I'm kind of planning on making these into their own rooms. I've got a bit of a plan to start working on some of the environmental tech multi-blocks in today's stream, and so I'll probably clear out a bit more space using the builder and kind of try and put something in some of these slots here. I'm also thinking about moving our mob spawner down here at some point as well, because right now we don't really have a mob spawner. We've got an area which is capable of spawning mobs, which is, if I can get up here, it's over here, but right now it's full of torches because it was turned off because it was being laggy. And also it doesn't actually give us mob drops, it gives us pink slime, which is useful, but not really as useful as mob drops at this point. And so I'll probably take this down. I'll probably try and move some of that cursed earth and put a new mob spawner down in our new area. But the first thing that I would like to do in today's stream is I would like to make an elevator from open blocks, because in the last episode, we spent way too much time almost dying due to fall damage because I kept going down. We don't have any like slime boots or anything like that. And so every time that I went down to the lower level, I lost a bunch of hearts. And as of yet, I've yet to die on this pack, and I would like to keep it that way if possible. And so I'm going to go ahead and hopefully here, if we've got enough string, which we actually might not have, but I'm really hoping we can, oh no, we definitely do. We can get enough, excuse me? Can you not, wait, excuse me? Wait, you can, no, yeah, what? Is this not real string? Hold on a minute. I was almost certain that we could make, oh, there's my fall damage again. I was almost certain that we could make, hold on. Yeah, okay, that works. I'm not quite sure why that other one didn't work then. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and make ourselves another one of these open blocks elevators, and all we have to do is place one of them down right about here in the hole that I've cut in the floor, right about there, and the other one directly beneath it, right about here. And voila! We've got a nice, easy way of getting between our two levels. Oh, I love it. Looks like you'll have to pump down some saplings. This is true. So you may notice that the actual system here is not working right now. And the reason for that is because the system has run out of saplings. With our leaf-eating generators tearing all of the leaves before the cart manager here actually has a chance to tear them down itself, we don't actually have enough saplings to keep the tree farm going continuously. I was really hoping that some of the leaves would be far enough away to where like the system could have enough saplings to keep itself going. And if we look in here, you'll notice that there are quite a lot of saplings in this chest, and so quite a lot of the leaves are despawning before they get hit by the Steve's Cart's cart and are thus dropping their saplings, but those saplings are currently not being pumped back into the system. And so one of the things that I do want to do in today's session is start to pump saplings into the system. As I mentioned in a previous stream, what I'm probably going to end up doing is, I need to get used to using this elevator now, what I'm probably going to end up doing is setting up another hopping bonsai pot with like an oak sapling in it, pumping it into a storage drawer. We'll probably put something like a void upgrade in there so that any excess leaves or oak logs or anything like that will just get voided, and then we'll pump all of the oak saplings out of that storage drawer and into a cart manager, which will then of course load those extra saplings into the Steve's Cart's cart, which will then plant them down and should hopefully keep the system going forever, essentially. That's hopefully the plan there. And so hopefully that's something we'll get done in today's session. But before we start working on that, I would like to start working on something else, because you may notice that I've got a bunch of gaps all around the bottom area of this kind of like lower section of the base now. And these gaps here are for garden cloches. And for those of you who don't know what a garden cloche is, it's this guy here from Immersive Engineering. And it's essentially a nice compact farm that's also quite quick. It's a very good way of growing things in general. We're going to use it to grow magical crops, right? We've got mystical agriculture in the pack, and up until now, we haven't really touched the mod all that much. We've crafted a couple of the furnaces to make our lives a little bit faster in terms of smelting, but we haven't crafted any of the seeds, and we haven't really started to use it yet to generate resources, and that is something I would like to start doing, hopefully, in today's stream. And to do that, I want to get a bunch of garden cloches. We're probably not going to make enough to fill this downstairs area here today, because that is quite a lot of garden cloches. cloches, and most importantly, the garden cloches do require treated wooden planks, which require creosote oil, which you can make in a couple of ways. The traditional way of making creosote oil is using a coke oven, right, from Immersive Engineering. Now, while the coke oven works just fine, and while the coke oven is not really that difficult to make, requiring just clay, bricks, and sand, the coke oven is incredibly slow. Like, it's really slow. Anyone who's played with it will tell you it's slow. It's tediously slow. And so what I would like to try and do instead is I would like to try and make creosote just a little bit faster using a augment for the Redstone Furnace. This guy right here, the pyrolytic conversion augment, which should allow us to burn things like compressed sawdust, hay bales, wood piles, but also things just like coal into coal coke and produce creosote at the same time. The most important bit here being that we can actually upgrade the furnace to be faster than it normally is, thus allowing us to hopefully, ideally, make creosote oil just a little bit faster than we normally would be able to using the coke oven. And so that is the first thing I would like to get started on in today's session, because this is the thing that's going to take the longest amount of time. So if we can get it going early, hopefully by the end of the stream, we'll be able to make quite a lot of garden cloches and start to put some of the seeds that we make to good use. So to make that, we of course need to get ourselves a redstone furnace. I don't even know if we've made one of these so far in... Oh no, of course we have. We got one over there, right? Yeah, I keep forgetting. We actually don't use it all that often. But let's just quickly go ahead and grab ourselves a standard redstone furnace, which of course we don't have the items required to craft yet. That would make life way too easy, but hopefully it shouldn't take us too long. It didn't, which is good. And then we also need that other augment, which already I have forgotten the name of. Creosote oil. What do we need for this thing? It requires an Invar gear, 2 copper plates, 1 redstone servo, and then 1 nether brick. The Invar gear shouldn't be too hard. It wasn't. I was really hoping we had the Invar to do that, and thankfully we did. Copper plates, I don't think we do have, but I'm fairly certain you can craft with 3 copper. Oh no, it's just with a copper and a hammer. Okay, that's easy enough to do as well. So hopefully we can just grab 2 of those. Really, I also thought we had an engineer's hammer already, but apparently I have been mistaken. Whilst we're at it, we'll quickly grab a servo and then also grab ourselves a nether brick, which again, I think we might already have, but we can always play it safe if we don't. Oh no, we've got loads. Okay, that's fine. That is not a problem whatsoever. So 2 copper plates, give me an engineer's hammer, give me some copper, and we should be good to go. That should be pretty much everything there. Now, the hard part about this really is going to be, does it have to be in a 3x3 crafting table? I never get those crafting recipes, right? The ones that require a 3x3 crafting table but don't take up a 3x3 slot, they always seemed quite odd. Excuse me? They always seemed a little odd to me, but apparently... Really? Like, with 2 seconds? I haven't had any inventory issues throughout the entirety of my time, like, doing stuff off camera, and then as soon as I start streaming, the inventory issues, they just roll on in. Like, they're on cue. They're just ready to go. Let me see. Can I place that? Oh, he's done it. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. Give me, please. There we go. All I need is 2. You know what? Give me, like, 32 copper plates, just in case we need more later on down the line. And so... Finally, that should be everything that we need. Nice. Now, if I go and place this thing down, the first thing that you guys are going to notice is that while this does produce creosote, much like the coke oven, this thing is really slow. Also, before we can actually put an augment in, we do of course need to get the Hardened Upgrade Kit. And speaking of upgrade kits, if we do want to get this thing to a reasonable speed, we are probably going to have to go ahead and invest in a Reinforced Upgrade Kit, maybe even a Signalum Upgrade Kit, and it would be optimal if we could get a Resonant Upgrade Kit onto this Redstone Furnace. Now, those things are quite expensive, and that might not be something we can get done in today's session, but really, like ideally, that's what we'd like to do. If we can get a resonant upgrade onto that thing, that's going to make our lives a lot easier in terms of making quite a bit of creosote, because if I show you guys right now, if we drop in that augment there, you'll see it does receive a tank, so it can now start to generate creosote oil. And if we quickly grab just like a stack of coal and throw it into the redstone furnace, you'll see that it is really quite slow when it comes to making this. It requires 3 redstone blocks per tick. It's very efficient in terms of power generation, but it's so very slow. Like, it's really slow. It's really I don't know why this stretches out in such a weird way, but it's so incredibly slow. like really slow. Any day now. Faster than the coke oven. I don't know, it might be, honestly. Like, right at its base speed, I feel like this is probably about as fast as the coke oven. But with the ability to make it faster, right? That's the idea there. The thing is that hopefully we can make this a lot bit quicker. So the first thing I want to do is try and make some of those other augments. For example, the reinforced upgrade kit here really shouldn't be too hard for us to make. Some Electrum and Silver Gear, as well as 2 fused quartz or 2 hardened glass. We might have what we need. Of course we don't. Again, that would have been far too easy. And so we'll just go ahead and craft up that stuff. And then the difficult thing really is going to be getting the Signalum gear, not because the Signalum's hard to get, but because we have to get the Cryothium dust, which does indeed require Blizz powder. The Blizz powder, I think we're probably going to have to make using the Fluid Transposer by putting some Snowballs in and some Liquid XP. Liquid XP, again, shouldn't really be too hard for us to get, given that we have 30 levels worth of XP, and we've got open blocks in the pack, and so we should be able to get the XP out of us and into the Liquid Fluid Transposer fairly easily, right? At least that's the plan. We do have hardened glass here. Does that hardened glass work in this recipe? I think it might. I think that the storage scanner just doesn't like to put the correct ones in. Oh, it does. Nice. That gets the reinforced upgrade kit. I'm not quite sure how much of an upgrade this is going to be. It bumps it up to 4 redstone flux per tick, guys. Oh, it goes from 3 to 4. That's an improvement. Whether or not it's a big improvement is, you know, a different question. But of course, by adding in that extra upgrade kit, we do of course also add in space for another speed augment, that being this guy right about here. So we can go ahead and make another one of those. Like we did with all of our dynamos, we can go and we can throw this in, and that should increase it to maybe 5, if we're lucky 6 redstone flux, 8 redstone flux per tick. Look at that, 8 redstone flux per tick. That's nearly triple the starting speed. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You can see we've already got 1 bucket worth of creosote oil here, and so hopefully this will begin to produce creosote quite quickly. But to make it even faster, I will go ahead and see if we can make the Signalum upgrade kit. So for this, we are going to need to get the Cryothium dust, which needs the Blizz powder, which needs a Flue Transposer. So the Flue Transposer is the first thing I'm going to make here. We already know that we don't have another machine frame. I'm going to make a few here again, just so we've got them ready if we need them in the future. Let's go ahead and type in Fluid Transposer, this guy right here. We do not have the copper gears either. Again, we'll go ahead and make like 16 of those ready for the future. Same with the transition coils. We'll just grab a bunch of those. Buckets we've already got. Glass we already have. Bish, bash, bosh. That gets us a Fluid Transposer, which for now, I'm not actually quite sure where I'm going to put this. I guess I can put it like right about here, right? Like that. The problem is that we do need to actually pump things into this, and so I might have to move that in just a second here, but it should be fine. It might be okay. It might just look a bit silly, but it should be okay for the most part. Then, in order to get liquid XP into the Flue Transposer, I think the easiest way for us to do that is using an open blocks tank, which, again, really isn't too hard. It is simply a bunch of glass, if I can find it here. It might be easier if I type in, like, tank at open blocks. Yeah, this guy right here. It's just a bunch of glass panes and some obsidian. Nice and easy. If you happen to have glass panes, that is. If you don't have glass panes, it's less nice and easy. Thankfully, we've got over 2,000 glass in the system right now, and so for us, it is really not too difficult. Get ourselves a tank, and then we also need to get an XP drain, I think is the name of it. This thing right here. This allows the tank to actually store your XP. It allows you to pull the XP out of your character and put it into a tank in liquid form, which is really quite nice indeed. So, if we take both of these, like so, we're probably also going to want to get some kind of fluid conduit so we can actually extract the liquid XP from the tank and put it into the Flue Transposer here. And this is where I'm saying that it's probably going to look a little bit silly, at least for the time being, because what we're probably going to have to do here is put down a tank, put down the XP drain, and then pull out of that and up into here. Right now, this is not what I want to do. I do not wish to store the. I do not wish you to connect at all to the Redstone Furnace. What it has done is it has put the creosote into that tank there, which is not what I want. And so, I think what I'm going to do here real quick is something like this. I'm going to put down another tank. I do wish to start storing the creosote because, of course, we want to be able to access and use this later on. And we do want to be able to store more than we can store in the Redstone Furnace, because I kind of just want to set it and let it do its thing throughout the course of today's stream. And so I'm going to click activate always. And I'm hopefully going to move all the creosote out of there into there. We'll then disconnect that one, set that one to extract, always active. And so now all the creosote should end up in there, and hopefully nothing will end up over here. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and try and reconnect these. Like so. Make sure the back here is set to an input. Like that. And so now if we stand on top of the XP drain, which we will be able to do if we make a little bit of space here, what it should do is it should start pulling some of those 30 levels out of me and into the tank. Now, I'm not quite sure what the conversion rate is of actual physical levels into liquid levels, but that looks like a fair amount to me. And so we'll set this to active without signal. That's going to start pumping that liquid XP into the Flue Transposer. I think this here should be more than enough for what we're trying to do. And then if we put some snowballs into there, we should be able to start making that Blizz powder, which should make making the Signalum Upgrade Kit fairly easy, right? So the next thing we need is snowballs. Now, snowballs are kind of hard to get when you're in a cave, right? When you're in a cave that has no snow biomes. So I think the easiest way for us to do that is probably going to be the Glacial Precipitator from Thermal Expansion. Again, a pretty easy machine to make, especially given that we just bulk crafted a bunch of copper gears, redstone reception coils, and machine frames. And this thing, fairly simple to use. All we need to do is throw this down where there is some power. I think the easiest place for me to do this is probably going to be over kind of in the wall over here. Again, it's going to be a little bit janky for the time being, but essentially, I want it near the sink here so we can actually provide it with water fairly easily. And then if we put it down as well next to this, it should start to receive power from that. It does, good stuff. And then if we quickly go and grab another fluid laser, which I'm really hoping we've already got. Let's see, laser. We do. We've got a normal laser, which of course we can zap over into an item laser. Oh no, it zaps into I always get the order wrong on that. I always think it goes power, item, fluid, but apparently it just goes straight to fluid. And so if we just throw that on there and then connect those two up, that's going to start transferring that unlimited source of water into the Glacial Precipitator. Grab our laser wrench, and then that should begin to produce snowballs for us. Now, we only need like 2 for the time being, but having this available for the future if we need more snowballs is always nice. There we go. Nice and easy. So, finally, if we come over to here and we throw it into the Flue Transposer, and we also make sure that the Flue Transposer has some form of power, which apparently it does not right now. Let me just get rid of that. We probably did lose a little bit in the way of liquid XP there, but that's fine. And then we grab a leadstone flux duct, throw that thing down, and finally, after quite a bit of work, we should kapow. That's not what I want to put down there. That's my inventory messing up again. We should... Did it not even... Hold on. There it is. Give me this. Put it down. 3rd time's the charm. Let's try that again. Give me the thing that I need. Inventory, please. Don't do this to me. I think I have to like open up a chest or something for it to reset. Yeah, there it is. Let's try again. Kapow. Give it a second. Give it a second. This is correct, right? I've done this right? Yeah, this is right. I think it just needs... Yeah, this is right. It's just really quite slow. But it's working, which is cool. This thing is also working very slowly, but it's getting there. And so, any second now that's going to be done. Whilst we wait for that to finish, we do also have to get ourselves the Signalum, of course, to actually make the Signalum Upgrade Kit. And so for that, it's probably going to be easiest maybe if we use... I was going to say the Redstone Furnace. Not the Redstone Furnace. I was going to say the Alloy Smelter. The problem with the Alloy Smelter that we've got right now, at least, is that it's extremely slow. And so what we should probably do, whilst I'm at it, I'm being lazy, I should really just upgrade the Alloy Smelter to an actual Alloy Smelter that is capable of, like, working at a real speed. We've been using the simple Alloy Smelter for way too long now, and especially if we're going to start working with more of the alloys from Ender.io, it probably makes sense if I just go ahead and upgrade the one that we have to a real Alloy Smelter, which I would hope that we have these items, but of course we don't. That would, again, be way too easy. So... Oh boy, I remember now why I didn't do this, because these things are a pain in the backside to make, aren't they? Holy heck. Okay, let's give it a go, though. So that's the 2 bimetal gears. Hopefully we can upgrade those to energetic gears. We got 1. Do we have any energetic alloys lying about? We do not, again. Would be too easy, which means I am going to have to put the thing back down, right? The alloy smelter back down so I can make some more energetic alloys. Ah! It's too much. It's too much, man. Okay, we'll make it work. It'll be fine. Ay. So, glowstone, gold, and redstone, I think, is the recipe. Also, Droid, hi man, how's it going? What was the name of the... Oh, really? I'm going to relog real quick just because my inventory seems to be messing up. Like, I thought I put that alloy smelter down and it's not doing it. What was the name of the wireless crafting doohickey for my storage scanner? And Mickey Mouse, hey man, how's it going? Welcome back. Yeah, what was the... I know you told me like 8 times that I should make the wireless crafting... No, yeah, the wireless crafting connector to the storage scanner. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Hopefully with less inventory issues. So take those out, throw in some glowstone, redstone, and gold. That will eventually, again, very slowly get us what we're after, but we're working to make that faster, as we are working to make all things faster. Let me clear my inventory out just a little bit here. We don't need all of this stuff on us at the moment. Search at RF Tools and look for the little green and blue cards. At RF Tools. Is it this thing here, the storage tablet? Or is it like a module for... Like, is it a module for the storage tablet? Oh, is it this one here, the storage control screen module? Is that the one I'm after? The one with, like, the hash on it? I'll try it. Let's give that a go. So, craft... Can I use black floral powder in place of that here? I can, good stuff. Do I really not have a normal crafting table in the system here? That's something we should probably rectify, right? I'll just drop like 16 normal crafting tables in there. And then hopefully that's going to get us that. I also don't think that the storage tablet is too difficult to make. It does require 3 blocks of redstone, which thankfully at this point in time is really not that expensive. So let's just go ahead and whack 3 of those together, like so. Give me the storage tablet. And so now, can I access this wirelessly is my next question. Also, could I have this? Oh, I'm missing a block of quartz. Hold on. Block of quartz. Kapow. Speaking of quartz, I did move the quartz chicken that we had. I've set up like a new... I haven't set up an area, but I'm thinking about putting my chickens in here. You'll see I've got a quartz chicken sitting over here, producing quartz and then pumping it down into this storage drawer right here. We've got some item conduits in the back that are moving all the quartz over. And so I'm kind of thinking of filling this room around the outside. I don't know if we're going to have that many chickens, but maybe putting some chickens around the edge of this room. I feel like that could be quite cool, maybe, quite useful, especially given that the storage scanner can still reach that drawer right there. I might not go right to the back of the room because the storage scanner can't quite reach that far, but I might put some like down the front on each side here, potentially, or maybe even move it to like this side, so they're in like this front wall here. We'll see. But let's see here. So storage tablet. The storage tablet contains no storage module, so can I use this on it? Sneak right click on a storage scanner to set the target for this location. So sneak right click on a storage scanner. Oh, it works. Look at that. Storage tablet. Storage scanner module installed. Monitoring storage scanner. And then at the coordinates of my storage scanner. So now if I open this up, look at that. That is super cool, actually. The fact that I can now access... So it's essentially like a wireless crafting terminal. Maybe with a little less functionality. But that's super cool. So now I can just request and craft anything from anywhere in the world. That is really neat. That is super neat. Cool. Cool. Infinite range as well. That is crazy. It's actually kind of overpowered a little bit, really, right? But anyway, let me see here. Do we have... the alloys? We do have a couple of energetic alloys there. I'll leave the rest going. Why is my internal crafting not working? Like, that works, but my internal crafting grid here is not... It's just not working. It's just completely decided that it's not going to work today. I guess that's fine for the time being. Let's go back to Alloy Smelter. See about getting another one of these gears. Like so. And then now all that we're missing is probably a cauldron. I doubt we have one of those in the system. And then also, of course, this industrial machine chassis, which requires the industrial powder coating, which I'm really hoping we have. We do. We've got one more left, thankfully. And then also the simple machine chassis, which shouldn't be too hard for us to make. Good stuff. We'll throw both of those into here. And that should be a new alloy smelter for us, which is quite nice. I think I've got everything now apart from the actual simple alloy smelter, and that is because the simple alloy smelter is currently over here in the wall. So let's go ahead and grab this guy real quick. Like just then, I'm sure I moved my pickaxe over to break it, and it just didn't seem to work correctly. Anyway, kapow! Nice. So that gets us an alloy smelter. Yeah, see, it's moved my pickaxe back. Weirdly enough, it put it back even though I didn't move it. It seems to keep moving my inventory, which is infuriating, to say the least. This thing does require this is done. We've got the Blizz powder now. We'll come at that in a second. We do need a capacitor for this. I think for now, do we actually have a capacitor? I think we might have like a spare one. We've got some basic capacitors, but I think for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and steal one of these capacitors just to make our machine a little bit faster. That is going to turn off our dust sifting for a minute here, but that's fine. We're not really in dire need of any sifting at the moment. That's going to go ahead and produce power and also make our lives a lot easier when it comes to actually producing things here, because now if we wanted to, for example, go ahead and make some signalum for our Signalum upgrade kit, all we need to do is put in some redstone, some copper, and some silver into the alloy smelter. My brain missed it for a second there. Into the alloy smelter, and it should hopefully be a little quicker than it was before. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, look at that. It's still not ultra fast. You know, it's not crazy fast, but it's doing quite well. It's getting there. Slowly but surely. So now we've got the Blizz powder, which is good. We are going to have to go ahead and craft that, of course, still further into the Cryothium dust, but thankfully that's not too hard to do, just requiring some redstone and some more of the snowballs, which we should have. I was going to say in abundance, but I'm fairly certain we'll have 16. Oh, we got 64. I thought snowballs stacked in 16. Maybe I was wrong about that. But anyway, nevertheless, we got 32 snowballs on us, which is nice. We've got a bunch of signalum. I'll leave the rest cooking up there because we're probably going to want more signalum to upgrade more machines in the future. We've already got almost 16 buckets worth of creosote. I think those hold 16 buckets again. I'm not entirely certain. I've got to learn to stop going back to the storage scanner now because I can actually use it wirelessly like this. But let's go ahead and craft up 2 Cryothium dust, like so. Good stuff. And then let's go ahead and craft up an Electrum Gear. We might not have any Electrum. Thankfully, we do. Good stuff. And then a Signalum Upgrade Kit. Nice. And then whilst we're at it, we should probably also go ahead and get ourselves an auxiliary coil, like so. So that once we put in the Signalum Upgrade Kit into the Redstone Furnace, like so, we can also go ahead and pop in another one of the augments. And we're now up to 15 redstone flux per tick. It's still not crazy fast, but it's significantly faster than the creosote oil making coke oven. It's still faster than the coke oven normally is, and you can see already we've already got quite a lot in the way of creosote oil here, which is quite nice indeed. So I think what I should probably do here real quick is try and empty out most of this tank so it can start working on producing more creosote for us, and we could do that, of course, by getting just an absolute ton of treated wood. So give me all this. Of course, I can't craft in there, but thankfully we've now got this thing in our... No, please, I would like just one of these, like that. Let's try make this work. It's a little tedious not being able to craft in your internal inventory, but nevertheless, give me a... oh my goodness, it's infuriating. Give me a crafting table, please. And then give me a crafting station. Oh boy. This is going to take some getting used to. There we go. I might have to like restart or something to see if I can see if it works, but essentially here all I want to do is just have one bucket. I can put the rest back away for the time being and just start crafting up some creosote here, right? All right, I'm going to restart. Chat, I'm going to restart my game. This is all it takes to make creosote. Nice and easy. I'll make treated wood even. If you do it correctly. There we go. All right. Apparently you have to shift right click to get fluids out of an open blocks tank. I feel like that didn't used to be the case, but maybe it is now. But that seems to be working just fine. We need 2 treated wood per garden cloche that we make, right? And looking down here, it would seem that we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 28 garden cloches in total. And so really all we need is like 56 treated wood, and we're actually already almost there. I'm kind of starting to feel like maybe we didn't have to set up a Signalum redstone furnace with a pyrolytic conversion augment in order to get enough treated wood. I really thought this was going to take a lot more time than it did, but thankfully we are now pretty much at the point where we've got enough creosote, at least enough treated wood to make all of the garden cloches. I will go ahead and just make the final set here to take us up to a stack. So now that we've got those, the next thing that we're going to need to get if we want to actually make ourselves some garden cloches is we need to get these guys right here, the vacuum tubes. We also need the iron mechanical components here, but these are fairly easy. 4 iron and then 1 copper. The iron does need to be in plate form, but that's fairly easy to do. The hard part, or the harder part, I should say, is the vacuum tube. And the vacuum tube is made in the engineer's workbench with an engineer's blueprint for crafting components with glass, nickel plates, copper wire, and redstone. You get 3 at a time. We need 28, and so we need whatever 28 divided by 3 is, which is like 9.1 or something like that, 9.3 maybe, I don't know, but we need 10, essentially, 10 lots of this in order to get enough vacuum tubes here, and at that point, we should be able to make all of our garden cloches fairly easily. Now, whether or not we're producing enough power to run 28 garden cloches is a different question. Right now, we're only producing I can't remember actually, like what, 400 redstone flux? I have no idea how much redstone flux we're producing over here. Oh no, actually we're producing nearly 1,000 redstone flux over in this setup, and the new tree farming setup, while fancy, does only produce like 200 redstone flux per tick. It's actually very poor when it comes to the amount of redstone flux per tick that it produces, but it looks cool, and so I stand by it. So we need to get the engineers, if I can spell it right, engineers work table. This guy right here. It does also require treated wood, and so this is where I guess that extra little bit of treated wood that we have will come in handy, and also the extra creosote that we've got ready to go over in that open blocks tank might come in useful. So let's get a fence, and then let's get a table, and then let's get the blueprint for crafting components. Thankfully, this is one of the easier ones to make. We do not have the paper, but hopefully have the sugarcane. Really, I thought we had a lot more sugarcane than we do. Nevertheless, we should be able to get more of that fairly easily. Should have everything it takes. We do good stuff. And so now, let's find a place for this guy. I think, for the time being, I'm probably going to put it right about there. That'll do just fine. We'll throw in the engineer's blueprint, and then... Oh, I've done the wrong one. I did the one... Did I do the wrong one? I do have the wrong one here. This one is for common projectiles. I need the one for crafting components. Oh, they're different... Wait. Oh, it's this one. That's bizarre. Like, it lists them. They're all the same recipe, but just ever so slightly different. I need this one right here for crafting components. There we go. Okay, so now if we put this one into the workbench, we now have what it takes to make the vacuum tubes. These guys right here. So glass, nickel plates, copper wire, and redstone copper wire made with shears and copper plates. So we're going to get to put our new hammer here to some good use. Do we have any nickel? We do indeed. We've got over 6,000 nickel, which is crazy. We've got some copper. We'll grab that as well. What else did we need there? We also needed redstone, and then finally glass. Glass, I'm pretty sure normal glass works in this scenario. I don't think it is any other kind of glass. Yeah, I think it's just standard Minecraft glass. Redstone's easy enough, and then shears we already have on us. So, I said I needed, what, 10 of these? So, 10 plates, like so. 10, I don't know if you get more copper wire per copper, but we'll get 10 copper plates, and then we'll turn all of those copper plates into copper wire. And I think, guys, that's pretty much it. We can throw in the wire, the redstone, the glass, and the plates. That gets us 30 vacuum tubes. Lovely. And then if we come back over to the storage scanner, we could go, which we don't need to do now because we've got our storage tablet, so really we could do it anywhere. But we should have, I think, everything that it takes in order to make ourselves 28 garden cloches. After we get 28 iron mechanical components, which does indeed require quite a lot of iron plates. So we'll do that first. Cloche. Let's get 28 garden cloches. 8, 16, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Nice. Nice. Are we missing? We're missing one piece of treated wood to get the last garden cloche. But for now, I'm going to take these down, and they fit quite nicely into these holes here. Look at that. Boom. I think they look pretty cool as well. So all of these are going to house different seeds and grow different items down here next to our tree farm. And one of the main things that I would like them to grow are mystical agriculture crops, right? Now, to get into mystical agriculture, we need to first start by getting ourselves some Infinium Seeds. I think that's how it's pronounced. These guys right here. There were 6 tiers of Infinium Seeds. They go all the way from tier 1 up to tier 6. Tier 6 obviously being the best. The first tier here is simply made by crafting together 8 of the Infinium Essence with 1 vanilla Minecraft seed. And so if we just go ahead and do something like this, we should be able to make those fairly easily. Infinium, we do have 8 Infinium. We don't have a whole lot of the stuff, and so we can't make that many. Ideally here, I don't think it's going to be fastest to grow these in the garden cloche. So the idea here is that eventually we're going to get something like lapis seeds, right? If we want to be able to automatically grow lapis, we could make the lapis seed, put it into a garden cloche, and then it would just, over time, on its own, grow lapis, harvest lapis, and we could pump it into like a storage drawer or something, right? Now, with the Infinium seed, this is going to grow Infinium, and we're going to use that Infinium to then craft other seeds, right? So, for example, if we go to something easy like the water seed, this is a tier 1 seed. It requires 4 Infinium to craft. If we want to craft this, we need Infinium. So the idea is we need a large amount of Infinium to make this happen. Also, the higher tier seeds require higher tiers of essence, and all of the higher tiers of essence are made by originally having Infinium essence. And so in order to get to everything in mystical agriculture, you need Infinium essence, especially if you want to get to the higher tier stuff. We're going to need an absolute butt ton of Infinium essence. And so ideally, we want to get the highest tier of Infinium seed possible. And to start out here, I think it's going to be fastest if we do this kind of manually, right? And by manually, what I mean is that if we go back over to our Britannia area where the water is, and we also get our acceleration wand in here. The acceleration wand, I believe, does work on crops. And so, unlike the garden cloche, which is fast, but not super fast, what we should be able to do with this is throw this down and then use the acceleration wand to rapidly get our first bunch of Infinium seeds. Because if we look at the recipe here for the higher tiers of Infinium seed, tier 2 requires a tier 1 seed, but then 8 Prudentium essence. The Prudentium is made by crafting 4 Infinium around an Infusion Crystal, which is made with yet more Infinium, some Prosperity Shards, and a diamond. And so essentially, we just need as much Infinium as we can get our hands on. And that's kind of the goal for today's stream. We want to try and get our Infinium production as high as it could possibly be. Now that we've got like about 30, if we go into our system, we should have like a little bit more. We've got maybe 40 Infinium essence. What we should be able to do now is we've also got like a block of Infinium, which I think we can craft back into more Infinium essence. We can, nice. If we want to upgrade to the next tier of seed, this one right here, we would have to get our first Infusion Crystal, right? Which we should be able to do. We've got a diamond, we've got some Prosperity Shards. I believe you get those from sifting sand, I think it is. And so now we can go ahead, we can craft that up, and we can also go ahead and craft in here, throw it in the middle, and put the Infinium essence around the outside. We only need 8 of the next tier of essence, like so. And then if we surround a standard Infinium seed, which I'll make another one of because they're not really too hard to make. If we go and do another one of these, like so, and then we surround that with the second tier of essence, the Prudentium essence, we now have a tier 2 seed, which I think essentially just grows faster, maybe gives you more Infinium occasionally. I'm not quite sure, but I think the core benefit is maybe that it grows faster. So if we throw that down and start working with the acceleration wand, we should get, you see we got 2 there instead of 1. Maybe it gives you 2 every time instead of just the 1. Also, we do get more seeds every now and again. You'll see we got another tier 2 seed as well. Actually, I didn't know that you actually got more tier 2 seeds when that happened. That is interesting. But you can see now that it should be a lot faster for us to get even more Infinium. Now, if we want to upgrade to the 3rd tier of Infinium seed, we have to get 8 Intermedium essence. And for that, we need, I think, a higher tier of Infusion Crystal, maybe? Or maybe not. Or maybe not. But we do need 32 Prudentium. 32 Prudentium, of course, requiring 32 times 4 is like, what, 128 Infinium essence? And so we'd need 2 stacks of Infinium essence to upgrade this to the next tier. And so, but at that point, we start getting even faster. It should hopefully spiral after that. Now, I think, although the acceleration wand is fast here, I think what might be faster is if we can potentially get one of the higher tier watering cans from Thermal Cultivation, which is a thermal expansion kind of add-on mod. Now, the highest tier, the Resonant watering can water in an 11 by 11 area. It's not quite as fast as the acceleration wand at making crops grow faster, but given that it can do 121 crops at a time, it should be faster. Now, unfortunately, this thing is quite expensive, but I think we might actually be able to make this happen. You can put the seeds in the cloches until you have all the cloches full. That's also true. It might also just be a better idea to put them in our garden cloches and then not have to manually water them. That's fair. And it also gives us a chance to actually set up all the garden cloches because the garden cloches do also require an unlimited source of water being pumped into them in order for them to continually work. So let's just clear our inventory out a smidge here. Again, I don't know why I keep coming back to the storage can. I've got this thing in my inventory here, but let's head down. And what we're probably going to want to do here is get some sinks from cooking for blockheads. Now, I'm not quite sure. We could probably get away with one sink, but I think what I'll probably do here is get 4 sinks and put 1 on each side, and then pull from each individual sink up and into each garden cloche. I think you can pump into the bottom. If not, we could always pump into the back. We do also need to provide power to every single one of these garden cloches as well, and so I think what we'll probably do there is use the energy conduits from Ender.io so that we can hide them inside of these chiseled stone blocks that are already in it. So let's go back in here. Let's see. Do we have what it takes to make a couple of sinks? We probably don't, simply due to the fact that we don't have that much clay. Do we have... Did I cook up some bricks earlier? Or did I cook up some terracotta? I didn't. Okay, so terracotta is just smelted clay, right? It is. Now, we don't have much clay, and I think I did mention before that we should probably get a clay chicken, right? Because we need a lot of clay, and clay's a little tedious to make. So what do we need here to get like a clay egg or a clay chicken? It would seem that we breed together a snowball and a sand chicken. A sand chicken is just craftable, and then the snowball chicken is a lapis and a log chicken. Lapis is also craftable. It's a blue chicken egg. Because I would very much so like to get this, right? And we haven't actually done any chicken breeding yet. Outside of breeding chickens together to make better chickens, we haven't actually done any chicken breeding to get better chickens. Dirt and water seeds. Dirt and water seeds could also work to craft clay. Let's have a look. You can craft 2 water essence with 2 dirt essence. How expensive are these seeds? They're actually fairly easy to make. The dirt seeds at least, and then the water seeds are also pretty easy to make. So yeah, you know what? We'll stick with the mystical agriculture theme of today. But then again, we do also need the... Oh, that's fine. We can make that happen. All right, we need fluid conduits. I think it's going to be the easiest way for us to do this. The pressurized fluid conduits requiring fused glass and some conduit binder. I really thought we still had some fused quartz there. Apparently, we do not. Fused quartz. What is the easiest way for us to make this? I think it's just... like, yeah, nether quartz in the alloy smelter. Thankfully, now we've got a faster alloy smelter, thanks to our efforts earlier in the stream. And we also, of course, have the nether quartz chicken pumping away over here in the colossal chest room. And so all we really need to do is just take all of that and put it into our alloy smelter. And that should hopefully make getting the a large amount of fluid conduits fairly easy for us, which is quite nice. So we'll take all these out. We don't really need that much signalum, but that's fine. Let's dump most of this stuff back in the system, especially now that we've got a wireless way to craft. We really don't need to carry around much of this stuff with us at all because we can just request it so easily. But nevertheless, fused quartz, good to go. Let's get some fluid conduits, like so. I think we've got a fair amount of conduit binder, and so we shouldn't run out of that anytime soon, I don't think. But for now, we'll come on back over here, and we will connect all of these up. I'm just going to do this one to test real quick. If we set this to extract, active without signal, and we set this one to insert only, that should begin to fill the tank there with water. It does. Good stuff. And then we just need to do something like that. I think by default, they might... They're set to both insert and extract. Oh, of course, we need to... I think you could fix this with like a Yeta wrench, right? Like if I do... that, nice. That does go ahead and connect up. And so now all of these are receiving water just fine. We'll do the exact same on the other side here. Like so. The next thing, of course, is setting up all of the power conduits along the top there. Do we have any energy conduits? We do not. Thankfully, they are fairly easy to make. I think. They are, yeah. And hopefully we've got some conductive iron. Oh, we don't. Really? That's fine. We can make some more really easily. I'll take a stack of iron and a stack of redstone, throw that into our induction smelter. I might even go as far as to upgrade our induction smelter at this point as well. Right now, it's still only got the hardened upgrade kit on there, and so we can probably go ahead and make a reinforced upgrade kit real quick if we get a silver gear. And then we've also almost certainly got what it takes, if I just quickly replace that hardened glass there, we've almost certainly got what it takes to make the signalum upgrade as well, so we can make our induction furnace quite quick. I don't know if it's necessary, like it's pretty fast already. We'll throw another speed augment in there just to boost it even further. Nice. 120 redstone flux per tick. This is probably fine for now. We probably don't need to waste our signalum and our liquid XP and all that good stuff on making this even faster, right? Why didn't you use liquid lasers? The liquid lasers are more expensive and more tedious. The setup is the reason that I didn't use the liquid lasers for the garden cloches. If we were just going to do one garden cloche, I would go with the liquid laser. But given that we've got 28 of those garden cloches, I feel like the liquid lasers just kind of make no sense in that situation. Like, they seem excessive, right? And then do we have... So we're all out of Conduit binder. Between sessions, I did go ahead and add all of these storage drawers to the storage scanner, and so you'll notice now that when I search sand, we've got 4,000 sand, and if I search gravel, we've got 3,000 gravel in the system, and so making more of the Conduit binder here really shouldn't be all too hard. Actually, we've only got 92 Conduit binder, but if we want to make more, we could, because we've got just so much sand and gravel. We are missing clay, but again, we're going to work on that in just a second here. But all I'm thinking is that we're going to need to get quite a few of these Conduit facades here. Really, I'm going to make as many as I can, which I don't think is too many. 11, I don't think is going to be enough to cover the full line. I don't think. But we can always make more if it needs to be, right? Maybe? Let's see. So I'm going to grab one of these... pieces of stone here as kind of like an example of what we, an example for our painting machine. We'll throw that in. Let that start painting all of those up whilst we work on other stuff. Whilst that's doing that, let's go put down all the energy conduits, shall we? So we can start providing power to all of these machines. So we have to start by getting rid of pretty much all of this chiseled stone here. But that's fine. And then we're probably going to want to make another flux point, slash flux plug. I always forget which one's which. Let me see here. Do I have one of them in the system? We've got a flux plug. What does the flux plug do? Flux plug. One of them adds to the system, and one of them takes away from the system. Flux plug. So we've got a flux plug for adding energy into a flux network. So I think the flux plug is the one we put on the generator. The flux point, which is the one we don't have, but we should be able to make, is the one that then allows you to pull power out and then removes it from the system. Yeah, okay. So I think this is what we need. Give me like 8 blocks of redstone, just because we need them for everything, apparently, and never have them. We also do not have any more flux cores. Probably don't have any eyes of ender. No, we do not. I don't want to make these in bulk, because I don't think we have that many ender pearls. We don't. We've got 9 left. We are really going to have to up our game with that mob spawner fairly soon here. But again, that is on my list of things that I want to get done, maybe even in today's stream. So hopefully ender pearls will not be a problem for too long. And so for now, we'll go ahead. We'll hide this like in the wall, like here. We'll put it there. We'll set it to the GamingOnCaffeine network, stink cheese, and then we will also run all the energy conduits from those across and to all of our garden cloches. Like so. Nice. So now all of these should receive power. Maybe I'll start with the... why is that not receiving... Oh, no, it is receiving power. Nice. They are filling up. And so now all we need is, what, 1, 2... What, we got 7... 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'd like 14 conduit facades to make this work, so we're almost at the right amount. Again, we're not going to be able to do it just yet because we don't have the clay, but what we can do is, using some of that Infinium essence that we already have, we should be able to make fairly easily the water seeds and also the dirt seeds, which we're going to put in these garden cloches to hopefully speed the process up just a little bit. So we're going to need 4 buckets for the water seeds. I've got to remember that with this thing, it's weird. You type in the search bar for something like bucket, and then if you click on the JEI search bar, it doesn't actually move the cursor. It looks like it does, because now the flashing little cursor icon is there, but if you start typing, it's still in the storage scanner. What you have to do is you have to click out of the storage scanner into your inventory and then click into JEI. It's a little tedious. I don't know why it works that way, but that's why, if you're wondering, sometimes I type in here and then I keep typing in here. It's because it doesn't move over intuitively. And then if we want to get a water seed, we need to go ahead and fill up all 4 of our buckets with water, which is very easily done now because, of course, we have ourselves the sink, which is a very overpowered unlimited source of water, and I love it. And now we should be able to go ahead and craft up this guy right here as soon as we craft up the tier 1 crafting seed, which does also require the base crafting seed, which requires more of those prosperity shards. I'm actually not quite sure how many prosperity shards we have. Not that many, actually. How do we get prosperity shards? What do we need to sift? Is it sand? I think it might be sand. It is sand, and sand's the thing that we've been sifting the least of, so we don't actually have that many prosperity shards. That is something that we do need to bear in mind. But anyway, let's go ahead and craft up a tier 1 crafting seed, like so, and then get our water seed, like so. And so now, if we put that into our garden cloche, it does also require that you have dirt in there as well, and so I will, of course, grab some dirt, throw a piece in the bottom, and what it should do is it's slowly but surely going to run down on the fertilizer there, and if you look inside, you'll see that it's actually growing up faster than it would normally, so it does grow all of its items faster than they would normally grow, just kind of on tilled dirt. Still not super fast, like it's not crazy fast or anything like that, but it's faster. And you'll see there we do have our first bit of water essence. And so ideally, what we're going to do, we're going to have a full downstairs area here, full of garden cloches, all producing different essences, which can all then be crafted into different things. You know, we can have lapis automated by garden cloche, redstone, iron, draconium, all kinds of stuff, as well as simple things like the water essence and the dirt essence, which you can craft up to make clay, which is exactly what we're going to do. So let me see here real quick if I can't also get a dirt seed. Does require another one of those base crafting seeds, along with some more Infinium essence, and then a bunch of dirt and Infinium, like so. We'll throw that in, exact same setup, Infinium seed with dirt. That should go ahead and start to produce quite a bit of dirt essence. And I think what we probably want to do is get some storage drawers, which are just called drawers, and throw those down. I think they can auto output, although I could be wrong on that. I guess I'm about to find out if I'm right on that or not. But if I put a drawer right there, does that auto output? It doesn't, which is slightly annoying. Oh no, they output from the upper slot, right? Give me a second. They output, somewhat annoyingly, they output from this slot here. Yeah, so that works. I don't think that looks great compared to like not having those there. I don't think it looks as good, but it's practical and it works. And you can see now we can go ahead and just cover all of those up and still have the lovely connected texture, which is nice. And if we've got enough essence in here, I will go ahead and lock these real quick. But if we've got enough water and dirt essence, we should be able to go ahead and craft up a little bit of clay. Like so. Look at that, 24 clay. It actually gets you a surprising amount as well, which I am very happy about. We can then, of course, use that to make some more conduit binder, like so. We need the conduit, what's this called? Conduit composite, or binder composite even. We'll make as much of that as we can. About a stack. And then if we throw that into our diamond furnaces, that should very quickly smelt up into some more conduit facades, which we can then go ahead and use to cover up yet more of our pipes, which is quite nice. And so, essentially, guys, between streams, I'm going to go and do the same thing here to all of these, you know? I'll probably spend a bit of time between streams upgrading our Infinium seed, you know, so just using the acceleration wand, just go AFK and use our power to get as much Infinium as we can, upgrade the Infinium seed to a tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, maybe tier 6, although that's a lot of Infinium to get done. I guess what we can do to get the ball rolling at least is if we grab the Infinium seed that we already have, we can just throw that in the system. Did we not have a... Oh no, our tier 2 Infinium seeds are over here, right? We can take these and put them into a garden cloche just so that they are like more Infinium is being made as we wait.